Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gora Hari Bol Go Premanande Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astasata Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astasata Srimad Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Chamakund Radha Kund Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai, Shri Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai, Cow Protection Ki Jai, New Govardhan Farm Community Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Magnati Mirandasya Gananjaya Shalakaya Chakshurum Kamena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Ivacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Text 33. Please repeat. Navir tattavyam tad adharma bandho dharmena satyena chavarti tavye brahmavarte yatra yajanti yagnair Yagneshwaram Yagnavitana Vignaha. Translation. Not. Vatitavyam, deserve to remain. Tat, therefore. Adharma, irreligiosity. Bhando, friend. Dharmena, with religion. Satyena, with truth. Cha, also. Vatitavye, being situated in. Brahma avarte, place where sacrifice is performed. Yatra, where. Yajanti, duly performed. Yagna, by sacrifices or devotional services. Yagna Ishwaram, unto the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Yagna, sacrifice. Vitana, spreading. Vignai, experts. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please repeat. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Report by Srila Prabhupada. Yagneshwara, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the beneficiary of all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. Such sacrificial ceremonies are prescribed differently in the scriptures for different ages. In other words, sacrifice means to accept the supremacy of the Lord and thereby perform acts by which the Lord may be satisfied in all respects. The atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and they do not perform any sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. Any place or country where the supremacy of the Lord is accepted and thus sacrifice is performed is called Brahmavarta. There are different countries in different parts of the world, and each and every country may have different types of sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord. But the central point in pleasing Him is ascertained in the Bhagavatam, and it is truthfulness. The basic principle of religion is truthfulness, and the ultimate goal of all religions is to satisfy the Lord. In this age of Kali, the greatest common formula of sacrifice is the Sankirtan Yagna. That is the opinion of the experts who know how to propagate the process of Yagna. Lord Chaitanya preached this method of Yagna, and it is understood from this verse that the sacrificial method of Sankirtan Yagna may be performed anywhere and everywhere in order to drive away the personality of Kali and save human society from falling prey to the influence of the age. I read the verse again. Therefore, O friend of irreligion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religious principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a very short report, but very powerful. It reminds us of our great fortune of getting the blessings of great experts, Mahajanas, and as Srila Prabhupada says, experts. Divya Jnana, transcendental knowledge, descending through the Parampara, Sri Parampara, through great devotees, empowered Shakyaveta avatars, Mahajanas, coming down to our present day by the blessings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his great devotees. And we can see that it is a transcendental plan to uplift the people of Kali Yuga. It is a very difficult age. At the same time, we can be the most fortunate as well if we willing to embrace the Sankirtan Yagna. Srila Prabhupada often quoted this verse in the 11th canto. We all know. I'll just read the Sanskrit also. Krishna Varnam Tvishak Krishnam Sango Pangastra Pasadam Yagna Sankirta Prai Yajanti Hi Su Medashaha. In this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This is interesting. Srila Prabhupada and the translation calls for intelligent people. So let's become intelligent. Let's embrace the Sankirtan Yagna and get the mercy by the Sri Guru Parampara. So, as the verse explains, that Lord Sri Krishna is the ultimate Yagneshwaram, the supreme receiver, beneficiary of all sacrifices. And we can see from the Puranic texts, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, about the different processes of sacrifices in different yugas, where people were more capable and receptive and able to practice certain methods. And this was in such a yuga, they perform great sacrifices, austerities, tapasya, great rishis. And then in the Treta Yuga we can see again sacrifices, although lesser in quality as we come into Kali Yuga. And Dwapara Yuga, very opulent deity worship, Archa Vigraha, Archa worship. And in Kali Yuga we can see that we are so unqualified, so fallen in generally, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows the ultimate mercy, the easiest process, and in one way the most blissful process. Makes it very easy for us, although it's not easy for us because we are so conditioned. And the age of Kali is very pressuring everyone. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami often calls the people of Kali Yuga insane, madness. Anyone who takes birth in this age is a sign of madness. So therefore our only hope is the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Panchatattva. So when we hang on to the mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga, then we have a great hope. It's not only enlightenment, divya jnana, transcendental knowledge, but also the path of happiness and actually have an access to Krishna's lila and knowledge, and not to speak of finding solutions to our problems of this Kali Yuga. And we can see from the previous verses that Kali Yuga is obviously Krishna's plan. There are living entities who so much engrossed in these lower modes, so attached. So Krishna facilitates. Naturally, there's a particular cycle. Living entities who couldn't complete the journey of self-realization or search for the absolute truth, or due to conditioned state or sinful activities. So there's an age where they can express themselves. You can see the whole world, more or less, very much engrossed in the lower modes, Raja, Tama, very, very heavily. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to have a powerful formula to help us. Of course, Krishna is always there to help us in some form or another. In previous yugas, he came as great Lila avatars or Yuga avatars. They're coming to establish again Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, which is in Kali Yuga almost unknown. Therefore, we have all kinds of complications and difficulties, individually and collectively. You can see the consequences for sinful activities and ignorance are very severe. Really, the only hope for this world is Srila Prabhupada's mission, noble mission, transcendental mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to somehow or other have an impact on the world. Of course, difficult, not even possible to convert everyone to be a Vaishnava, but somehow or other we can touch people's lives in some form or another. By prasadam distribution, Shri Harinama Sankirtan, distributing books, and of course there are different kinds of people who have a different level of, I would say, piety, punyas, sukriti, so they're able to receive more. This is when we have to be ready. We have to be qualifying ourselves, so when the opportunity comes, we're able to represent Vaishnava Siddhanta, Guru Sadhu Shastra properly. So we can explain the science of Krishna consciousness to people who are actually sincere seekers and intelligent. They're able to analyze. There are many people out there, they're waiting for us. So there are times when we can do that more effectively. Sometimes, just like now, we may have to go a bit more internal, increase our hearing and chanting, and get ready, because Krishna has a plan for us. I personally like to be optimistic. Krishna always has a plan for us. This is a time for us to increase our hearing and chanting, and get closer to each other as a family, and understand how valuable to be among the devotees, to serve each other. We are very blessed to have senior Vaishnavas, Mukunda Maharaj, Bhanu Maharaj, Raman Maharaj. They're like our natural Shiksha Gurus. They're giving us advice, beautiful experiences, their close association with Srila Prabhupada. So let's appreciate and value the time we have now for Shravanam, Kirtanam, and trying to understand these things and qualify ourselves. So gradually, when the time is ready, we can be able to present this Krishna consciousness nicely, as Srila Prabhupada would like us to, authentic way, without any concoction, without any tinge of Mayavada or impersonal or misunderstandings. So the books are very clear. We can kind of analyze it and stimulate our knowledge amongst each other. And Kali Yuga is a very difficult age. There's so many distractions. Therefore, individually and collectively, we are unable to focus our minds properly on the holy names of Krishna and properly engage in devotion service. Therefore, the association of devotees very, very important, because we can kind of strengthen each other, infuse each other, encourage each other. Otherwise, very difficult. Unless we had the adhikari, the advancement and realizations, it is very difficult. And the devotee is always humble about himself or herself. We never claim to be advanced. We take shelter of the process. And these beautiful purports reminding us about the condition of Kali Yuga right now, and how people don't understand the principles of religion. And you can see the most fundamental principle of any religious system is truthfulness. And we're trying to understand the science of religion, not particularly the externals. Externals there, time, place, circumstances, geographic locations, cultures. So naturally there are so-called religions, but ultimately it comes down to the science, whether we understand the science. And the Vedic text, the Vedic scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, clearly define what is religion, what is dharma. So truthfulness, as Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, is the fundamental principle of all religion. Although there may be many different external religions or systems in different locations, different countries, but unless they understand this, they won't be able to make any progress. Rather, it can be the cause of distress. We can see all these confrontations, so-called religions, because they have a very, very superficial or any understanding of God consciousness, and become just like racism, become isms. This religion, that religion, and of course, this is a good excuse for the world, and particularly the politicians and different leaders of the countries, to use religion as an instrument to create divisions, divide and conquer. So not everyone has the right mind, but the Srimad Bhagavatam is reminding us that this is not the religion. Religion is much more than that, and first of all, truthfulness. So we can see so much difficulties in many levels, and ultimately we can analyze it very deeply. Of course, the sinful activities, especially meat eating, cow killing, slaughter, and uncleanness, and so many things that really not matching up with the civilized lifestyle. And therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the experts, the Mahajanas, the great devotees, even down to the present day, coming down, Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnava community, Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all great souls, Narottama Das Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, all great personalities we call experts, Prabhupada calls experts, who have a proper understanding, realization, the spiritual reality, transcendental reality, who Krishna is and what is actually the purpose of human life. They can elaborate on that in many texts. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta was very, very particular about explaining very, very systematically and analytically the importance of Vaishnava Siddhanta, and also he's defeating all the Mayavada, which was a very, very difficult, in his particular time. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta had great challenges with this Mayavada, Smarta Brahmana, and Sahajasm, great challenge. And you can see in the Western world is slightly different, but the influence of Mayavada is still there, the Voidist, impersonalist. Most universities are very much influenced by these misconceptions. They don't have a clear understanding of God consciousness. They have a very vague, if they have anything, it's more just some sort of historical thing or religious studies or archaeological studies or whatever, but they don't actually understand the science of God consciousness. Otherwise they would act on it, they would teach. And Srila Prabhupada criticized universities. They don't even teach the very basic formula, that we are not the bodies. Therefore, there are difficulties all the way through. There's a pinprick in the original equation. Instead of 1 plus 1 equals 2, instead of 1 plus 1 equals 3. And they continue the equation. So you can see this grand scale, massive materialistic civilizations around us, which are really symptoms of Tama and Raja. It's a matrix of Raja and Tama, a little goodness. There are some pious people who have punya. They are the ones who are seeking. They're trying to find answers. Therefore, we have to be ready for that too. We have to actually give them opportunities. And whenever Krishna shows the opportunity, let's say we can have seminars in universities, or we can visit homes and have presentations on Srimad Bhagavatam, have kirtans, namhatta programs, not in a confrontational way, but in a nicely, appeal to their intellect, appeal to their heart, and explain the importance. It's an urgency. Once we understand ourselves, how urgent, what an urgency to become Krishna conscious, we have to share it. It is the first thing when how can I share this? How can I touch people's lives with Prabhupada's and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message? Of course, much easier together. So let's work together. Let's hopefully things open up again, and we can preach to the guests and encourage them. Present Srila Prabhupada's books to them, and they sense our sincerity and integrity, because really I've got nothing to gain out of it. I'm just giving my experience, trying to share my humble realizations, and try to please Srila Prabhupada and Krishna and help that soul, because it's our duty really. It's a compassionate thing to help others. This is when we get the realizations also. We get the insight. Krishna actually helps us to realize how important it is. All the instructions here in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam comes alive. We become not only enthusiastic, but blissful. People need, the world needs realized, blissful, happy souls, because really no one is happy. You can see that they're being cheated by Maya, cheated in so many ways, and Kali Yuga is a grand scale arrangement for that. All the facilities there. But unfortunately they don't see, they can't distinguish because of the influence of Raja and Tama. the mode of ignorance and mode of passion. And the consequences are very heavy, you can see. Now we have so many difficulties. This is just a bit of taste, and the people getting a bit of, wow, it's not always going the right way as they like to, because there'll be consequences. And you can see there's constant rivalry amongst governments and states. None of them are qualified really to be in that position. They're taking those roles. And this is one of the reasons Kalki avatar will come also, because there will be rogues and rascals taking the robes of a king and artificially taking a position of leadership without being qualified, and they brutally, aggressively trying to overload the whole planet. This is when a powerful avatar will come in, when there's no other solution. Only Krishna himself comes and clears up all this. But till that, at least there is hope. A holy name is present already by the mercy of the acharyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So our business is to somehow or other raise our consciousness in the association of devotees and share this love of Krishna in the holy name. Holy name is very powerful. And you can see there's a solution to this problem. Prabhupada just straight to the point. Sankirtan Yagna. And as the verse says in the 11th canto, intelligent persons embrace this. Wow, makes sense. This is not just some sentiment, it's not just some religious tradition or chanting mantras. And no, Krishna is directly there in a holy name. And when we chant sincerely, we feel Krishna is there. Krishna is there, He's giving us the mercy, giving us. The more sincerely we chant, more attentively, from the heart, carefully follow the rules and regulations, because we're not on the platform of pure Sudha Nama chanting. Sri Nama, holy names of Krishna, everything's there. Krishna's pastimes, name, form, His love, His associates, everything's there. He's giving us Himself. So our business, our duty, more than just business, duty is to somehow or other develop our Krishna consciousness. Let's not be content or satisfied remaining neophytes. Trying to raise our consciousness. Let's become lovers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and touch people's lives. This is when we become very effective, a real impact. And we're going to touch people's lives. And we draw them in with love. Of course, it's easy to say these things, but it's a process. Therefore, we humbly follow the instructions of our spiritual masters. And Srila Prabhupada established this movement, and so many great devotees, so many great spiritual masters who have accomplishment, great services, so many decades of sacrifice. Amazing. So when we associate with such persons, we also get affected. And we get the Shakti, we get the potency, we can preach. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, and Kaviraj Goswami often quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that without being empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no one can preach Krishna consciousness. Only an empowered personality. And you can see, Srila Prabhupada was a classic example how much mercy he received from Mahaprabhu. He was empowered, he had the potency. He actually felt compassion for us, really. It wasn't just a kind of a duty to preach Krishna consciousness. It was actually out of love, compassion. He could see us, he could see the suffering and the pain of the living entities. So we can only appreciate that and somehow or other take up that spirit of preaching. And then we also rise up gradually. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees. In one way, very easy to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to really ready to share this preaching Krishna consciousness. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent had many purposes, preaching and sharing and Sankirtan Yagna, of course, one of the main reasons. But he also came to enjoy the association of his close devotees and feel the emotions and love Radharani felt for Krishna. Very, very confidential, esoteric, beautiful pastimes of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He is not an avatar. He is directly Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the most merciful, the most kind. Basically the love, just like Radharani, the feminine, the motherly, the love, the compassion, it's all there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why you can see his mood is very compassionate, loving. And so Gora Nitai, Lord Nityananda, the original spiritual master, Lord Balaram, and Krishna himself, they're coming in these beautiful forms. Even just looking at Gaur Nitai, it's so inspiring, it's so sweet and uplifting. So, one thing I've realized, we have received this beautiful Siddhanta, beautiful knowledge, is Samarada. Let's value it. Let's become grateful to Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, what we have received. Then once we realize, then we just simply want to engage in devotion service, want to serve the devotees, want to spread Krishna consciousness. I was just reading a couple of articles by Vashashekha Prabhu, that although we have this so-called lockdown worldwide, whatever, they have distributed more books than ever through many outlets. So this is when, of course, we make up, how can we preach now? No, let's become innovative. Let's use our intelligence. This is a proper way to use our intelligence. It's a proper way to use our senses. Contemplate, meditate, how to improve our devotion service, how to develop skills for Krishna, how to serve the spiritual master. Let's learn all these things. It's not a automated thing. We have to make the effort. We have to make the effort. Same with preaching. We have to use intelligence. Srila Prabhupada liked the idea the devotees taxing their brain, how to come up with innovative ideas. He liked the library programs, university programs. He liked so many things, visiting scientists and all this, or inviting them. So if we actually have the right attitude and mindset in preaching Krishna consciousness, Krishna will bring all these intelligent people, like he says in the Bhagavatam. Intelligent people actually willing to embrace the Sankirtan Yagna. We just have to facilitate. We are facilitators for Prabhupada. So let's facilitate, help them. And the time will come, I believe, that more and more preaching opportunities coming. This is a time where we will shake up, wake up call, and people, a lot of millions of books out there already in the last 50 years, just about. Hundreds of millions of books being distributed by hard-working Sankirtan devotees. Those books are there somewhere, sitting on the shelf somewhere. And this is the time when people who are a bit introspective, reflecting on life, there are many people out there now, they're opening these books because they can't find solution. They tried everything, and now the society is betraying them. So many things are collapsing. The sandcastle is collapsing. This is when the books are there, and they open these pages and getting some hope, a ray of hope from Srila Prabhupada and the Sri Parampara, that actually there's a solution. Sankirtan Yagna. Therefore, in this age of Kali, there is the holy names of Krishna is the most recommended process. There's no other way. There's no other way. There is no other way. So when people read the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, the potency, the love, and the urgency. I remember when I got the very first Bhagavatam set, I could hardly speak English when I just arrived in Australia. And just the potency of the book made me look into it. And it started the whole process. I came to the temple, I checked it to the devotees, and the first thing I felt, how can I serve these people? They're such a beautiful qualities, gentle, truthful, I can trust them. And many devotees said about Srila Prabhupada also, that the reason they felt so much, one of the reasons they felt so much love for Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was a perfect Brahmana, truthful, integrity. They could trust Prabhupada with their whole life. So when I was reading the pages of Bhagavatam, immediately I felt this is it. Somehow or other I felt something, I can't even explain it, just felt something that there's an opportunity here. Let me try, in spite of my disqualifications. And of course, I'm trying to get there, I'm not qualified, but at least I appreciate and feel the value, and I feel grateful to all the devotees, first of all, because the devotees facilitated me. So many devotees encouraged me, continue my devotion service, wherever I was. Always trying to remember Krishna, always trying to preach Krishna consciousness, somehow or other, according to my capacity. There was one lecture by Srila Prabhupada, very encouraging lecture about preaching. He said, any devotee can preach according to the capacity. We just have to speak from our heart, encourage people to read the books. In the beginning, that's the best thing we can do anyway, because they're not philosophically inclined, they don't know much about, but they just feel our energy, feel our sincerity, honesty, love. And of course they realize, and most people realize already, that they are suffering. It's not a pleasant condition right now. So many people, different countries especially, they're having so much difficulties, tribulations, and they're threatened by non-existence and untimely death and disease and pandemic and whatever. And this is just a karmic consequence, but they can't see the underlying causes, therefore they blame each other, as you know, because they don't have a qualified leader, they're posing to be qualified, they have no training whatsoever, and they are there for personal aggrandizement or ambition. Most of the time is name, fame, money, greed. So the whole society is impelled with this force of greed, which is one of the most difficult quality actually, because you see envy, it's all connected to each other. Greed, envy, lust, anger, and hatred, and now we have this rights and hatred, and they don't see the underlying causes. So they're creating more problem, and they're more suffering. And then there are many people actually searching, looking for alternatives, but they just don't have the opportunity, or may have the opportunity in the future. So as time goes, this movement will be very powerful, more and more powerful, in spite of our hiccups here and there, because we're challenging the material energy individually and collectively. It's an illusory potency here, but Krishna helps us. We just have to have that positive, optimistic mindset. Is the ultimate positive alternative. Krishna consciousness is the ultimate formula, and Prabhupada in the purport makes it very clear for us. Sankirtan Yagna. This is the most sublime, the easiest and the most effective process ever. And especially for this age, because in this age we have naturally, we're just so accustomed to the impulses of Rajaguna and Tamaguna. We don't have the strength, we don't have the intelligence even to rise above this. We need the mercy of the Holy Name, we need the mercy of the spiritual master, we need the devotees, and that way we gain strength. And the Holy Name can gradually raise our consciousness, our realizations, gradually go through different stages, subtle layers, and we gradually come up to higher feelings and emotions and experiences while chanting the holy names, to the point that one day, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we can, hopefully, in this life and the next life, we can actually come to the pure love, passing even clearing stages, when we're just avoiding offenses. When we come to a platform of love, we actually chant out of love, not just because I have to chant a certain number of rounds or some sake of kind of responsibility or duty to our Guru. No, we actually chant always from the heart to glorify Krishna, to please Krishna, not wanting anything in return. We're not doing business with Krishna anymore. Krishna, I chant, keep me happy and peaceful and healthy. And we still have subtle motives. But Krishna understands. He's very, very kind. So this man Mahaprabhu is very kind to us. He's giving us an opportunity, chance. Okay, keep trying, keep trying. So this is the most sublime and most perfect process for this age. And there's no other way, because you can see that the whole world, without real and proper leadership, there are no more Raja Rishis anymore. By the way, I was listening to one morning walk conversation by Srila Prabhupada and the devotees together in the United States, I think 76 or 70, 75, 76. And the devotees asking Srila Prabhupada, what are the major challenges of this age, Kali Yuga? And Srila Prabhupada said that one of the greatest challenges of this Kali Yuga, that no more Raja Rishis anymore who can enforce the Sanatana Dharma, the principles of religion. Because they wanted to see that regardless of the external features of a religion, they wanted to see that the principles of religion, the science of religion is maintained. So whether you're Muslim or Christian or whatever you are, as long as you understand the principles or the science of religion. So Srila Prabhupada was not promoting a sectarian or so-called dogma. No, he was preaching about the science itself. Let's become devotees of God. Let's understand who God is and our relationship with Him. And if you want to remain in a Christian path or other faith, as long as you understand this, then you get the result. You get positive result, of course. But Krishna consciousness movement gives a very holistic, complete, I would say, facility for us. It's a most effective and the most blissful, and it's all there for us, scientifically, scripturally, and the teachers are there too. So we have the facility. We just have to feel the gratitude. We feel grateful to Srila Prabhupada. So there's no Raja Rishi in this age. Therefore, there are problems. There's no the Brahmanas so-called Brahmanas don't behave like Brahmanas. They're using. It was a problem in India for a long time, especially the last 2 centuries, where the smarter Brahmanas they were very orthodox, or I would say elitist idea what is a Brahmana, not really following the scriptural injunctions. This is when Bhaktisiddhanta, and of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, particularly Bhaktisiddhanta was very, very sharp with the smarter Brahmanas, establishing that even Westerners or people who took birth out of Bharatvash, they also have the opportunity. They can also qualify to become a Brahmana, not only Brahmana, a Vaishnava, which is even higher. So by the grace of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, it became very clear that even Westerners can take up the cultural Brahminical Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. And see, the Raja Rishi's duty was to kind of enforce. The Kshatriyas had to behave as Kshatriyas. The Vaishyas had duties. Everyone had their duties. So the Brahmanas had to perform their duties also. And because there's no such a king, a powerful, saintly king, Therefore, it topsy-turvy and becomes very corrupted. The Brahmanas become like a caste system without any qualification, claim to be Brahmanas, and the Sudras not performing any, Sudras becoming envious of the higher classes, which actually not natural for them either, because they were originally happy to serve the higher caste, they were happy to cooperate, they were laboring, helping, and often they even recognized devas and worshipped, and they followed some kind of principles. And then of course the Kshatriya code, there's whole shastras on that. Dhanurveda, and many shastras on, and not to speak of Manu Samhita, many shastras giving codes for Kshatriyas. What is a proper Kshatriya? Same with the Vaishyas. There's still some families in India, like particularly in Gujarat, some places where there's still the Vaishya lineage coming down. They're very particular about, what is a Vaishya. At least resembles the original form. So, in this last verse, or the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Chaitanya preached this method of yagna, and it is understood from this verse that the sacrificial method of Sankirtan yagna may be performed anywhere and everywhere in order to drive away the personality of Kali and save human society from falling prey to the influence of the age. Hare Krishna. Is there any questions or comments or corrections? Yes, Prabhu.
Can you explain exactly what is the Sankirtan Yagna and how it's supposed to be performed?
Okay. The Sankirtan Yagna, you see, just like any Yagna, has to be in the framework of the instructions of the Acharyas, Mahajanas, experts. Prabhupada says experts. So, how to perform Sankirtan Yagna, we have to take guidance from our spiritual master. Of course, in general concept, Sankirtan Yagna means congregational chanting and taking shelter of the holy name and propagating. It's a very involving other aspects of Sankirtan. Is really, it's a yagna, it's a sacrifice, and it's one of the easiest way to attract the mercy of the Lord, who is the ultimate beneficiary, Yagneshwaram, and he is the Yagna Purusha. You see, in every age there was a Yagna Purusha who received the Yagna. But in Kali Yuga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Panchatattva, they are the beneficiaries, and the most kind, most merciful form of Krishna. So when we, for example, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is really perform the Sankirtan Yagna in many different ways, and not just the congregational chanting for the sake of chanting, but also all services kind of helping that to kind of, so we can glorify the holy name together and have an effect on the world. So this is called a yagna. It's a very simple process. So this is what we have to kind of how to perform the yagna. Is when you actually what service you can do, any service you can do that's supposed to yagna, overall yagna, which is really push on the Sankirtan mission of Mahaprabhu. And it has many different components, services, what you can do according to your capacity. It's not just chanting on the street, that's one thing, but there's so many other things to do. See, distributing books and serving Krishna, so maintaining the temples and farms. And devotees who have a particular nature, they may fit into some services. It's not, it's of course it all comes down to spreading the holy names of Krishna at the end. And that's why we have literatures, the Brihat Mridanga, the Greater Mridanga, see, which is also chanting. Prabhupada's books and purports are also chanting, recorded chanting, see. So when we're reading Srila Prabhupada's purports, because by the way, Prabhupada even dictated these purports. So you can see the sound vibration. It's a recorded sound vibration in the first place. But the message definitely reinforcing and energizing the real thing is chanting the holy names. So chanting the holy names, yeah.
I appreciate your answer, but I really want to know exactly all these other things are supporting what is the Sankirtan Yagna.
Sankirtan Yagna exactly meaning congregational chanting of the holy names. That's the exact Sankirtan. Kirtana. San it means congregational. Sankirtan together, chanting of the holy names. And so it's very clear, the chanting of the holy names. I mean, ultimately, that's what we're supposed to do. But because we're not on that platform, and it's also a preaching mission, so we have so many things we can do to support that. But ultimately, chanting of the holy names, really. Individually, collectively, especially collectively. And you can see the whole society of Srila Prabhupada's mission is based on that. Everything about the chanting, everything about chanting. Even daily worship about chanting, because everything just reminding us about the holy name. Actually, there are slokas, verses in different Puranas, and also, I think in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, that without chanting of the holy names, even daily worship is incomplete. Everything is incomplete. So holy name is the main thing for us. And because we're not advanced, therefore we have to fit into the activities of Varna Ashram. We can't just be Babajis. Not everyone can be a Babaji. Bhaktisaranta, for example, didn't like his disciples to become Babaji because he knew that they're not ready. Otherwise just eat, sleep and think of money and all that. We're not advanced, therefore we have to engage in some external activities so we can actually get purified at the same time. And when we chant together, and also this has been the front line, the street distribution and Harinams, and they all should be there. Of course, they are the main focus, like a spearhead. Everyone's behind them, see? Just like in the war field, you have the combat fighters, and they're all ready. So it's a very broad meaning, at the same time very simple, congregational chanting. It's actually chanting together, chanting the holy names of Krishna together. That's what actual meaning. And you can see the whole pastimes of Mahaprabhu, the Rath Yatra especially is a classic one, when the devotees having huge kirtans, huge Harinam parties. And they have, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even had divisions, okay, I think of 5 different divisions, okay, and they all had hundreds of mridangas. So when we talk about Sankirtan Yagna, that's like the ultimate kind of, that's how we can visualize. So let's promote that. And one day will come. Like I said, I'm very optimistic. Now we're just building up our strength and numbers, gradually, and with time, millions of people will be chanting on the planet. Then we'll be huge. Then it become very obvious what is the Harinam Sankirtan. Imagine the Harinams we have. So this is how I can explain it to you. Is that okay? What was your understanding?
Yeah, I just like, I wanted to understand like directly.
Yeah.
I understand the point of, okay, we're not qualified to do it 24 hours a day, so we shouldn't become Babajis.
Yeah.
And we should give up other activities in devotional service. But I think it's still important to understand that, like, otherwise it becomes unclear. Everything is Sankirtan Yagna, then it's like nothing is Sankirtan.
Okay, I understand what you say. Has to be a clear definition. Okay.
Chanting of the holy names. Music, with mridanga.
Yeah, holy names. Yeah, it's all, like I said. You see, there are many different components. No, there's no hard and fast rules for that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also explains that. No hard and fast rules. So as long as we're not committing offenses to the holy name and follow the guidelines of Guru and Gauranga, because they're guidelines. If you're not advanced, then we have to follow instructions. We have to chant the holy names under the guidance of our spiritual master, because we can commit offenses. The holy name is Krishna directly there. So we have to deal with the Lord very carefully. So, but the Sankirtan Yagna is when we actually all together chanting the holy names. Instruments are just maybe complementing whatever, but the real thing is the holy name. It's not about instruments really, it's about the holy name. And to glorify Krishna, first of all, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the holy names, understand the holy name is there, Krishna is there, and also to, like I said all the way through, is to share this love. When we go out, share. Rupa Goswami has a few, I have to find it for you, there's a couple of verses I came across. It says, when someone shares the holy names with others in the form of kirtan, Harinama Kirtan, the benefit receives 1,000,000 times more than personal silent japa. See? So ultimately it comes down to a congregational chanting and sharing the love of Krishna. That's the whole message of Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Apart from all the esoteric and beautiful pastimes, there is a powerful message there. Like I said, let's become actually advanced and feel the mercy of the holy name, and we want to share it. So when we chant the holy name, there will be an impact. And this is the real Sankirtan Yagna. We perform a Yagna. Yagna also means sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord. It's not just performing chanting because that's what... No, we actually chant to please the Yagna Purusha, Yagneshwaram. So when we please Krishna, then our Sankirtan Yagna is complete. So there's no hard and fast rules in the chanting, as long as we don't commit offenses to the holy name and we follow the guidelines, the instructions of the spiritual master. So obviously to chant properly, purely, we have to follow principles, we have to keep us on the platform of mode of goodness. We have to understand who the holy name is, and there's so much scriptures here. It's all about, by the way, Prabhu, good question, it's all about the holy name actually. That's why we have to read so many books, so we can understand actually what we're supposed to do is chanting. That's why you have so many shastras. It's all about chanting actually. If you really understand and what the first thing you want to do, let me chant. That's why there's so many shastras. That's why we have to read a lot, so we can understand actually nothing else to do except chanting. That's why so much philosophy here. Because we're not advanced, so therefore we have to convince ourselves. And the shastras are there, of course. It's a science, the scriptures. And when we read these, then realize actually nothing else to do in this world except chanting. But of course, at the same time, be honest and realize that we may not be on the platform of Babaji or someone who's above the Varna ashram. So let me fit in somewhere, comfortably situated, so you can peacefully make advancement and contribute. Because a guru has a mission. And when you serve the guru's mission, this is when you get all the mercy also. This is when you, like I said, all the different levels, you come to the point of pure chanting, Sudhanama chanting, and then this is the real Sankirtan. Then you're going to have an impact. So otherwise, it's just a gradual thing. But chanting is the main thing. It's just ultimate, main thing. And I do agree. But there's so many ways to explain this, of course, but even if you can only do this or that, whatever services you can do, you don't feel that you're inferior because you can't do something a bit more kind of obvious preaching or, I don't know. Everything is important. Prabhupada says in many lectures, everything is important. They're all helping us. And eventually, when you are ready, and you have the inspiration, Krishna also gives you the inspiration within, and the spiritual master externally also can give you instructions. Okay, I want you to open a preaching center, or I want you to do Harinam all day on, whatever. We just follow the instructions of the spiritual master, and this is when we become an effective instrument in the Sankirtan Yagna. And Sankirtan Yagna really means a congregational effort. Chanting together. You see, Mahaprabhu is always with the devotees, not by himself, always with the devotees. performing pastimes, always Harinams, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita is a Harinama. So when we read these books, then we become inspired. When we become inspired, we become very enthusiastic, ecstatic. And this is when we become happy and satisfied and feel that we accomplished something for our Guru. We're not just enjoying the facility. Prabhupada, look at Prabhupada established for us. He suffered gallons. He suffered so much for us. He spent gallons of blood to establish this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, worldwide federation. So much. So how cannot be, we have to be grateful first of all, then we can really take it, study it, trying to understand these things. Then, when the mercy comes, Krishna helps all the way through. We have to make the effort, and Krishna helps also. So for me, it sounds complex, but actually very simple. We just have to keep chanting, and chant properly. And then we don't have to worry too much. Krishna will give the opportunities. Okay, do this, do that, and the Guru will come and just confirms it. Chaitya Guru is in our heart, Krishna is in our heart, the original Guru, and the external Guru is necessary also. So we just simply confirm each other. So the Chaitya Guru, Krishna, the Paramatma, he may give you the inspiration and the encouragement within. You feel, wow, I feel really inspired to do this. And Krishna obviously gives the idea. And then Prabhupada or the spiritual master, whoever is your spiritual master, he encourages you. Okay, there's a good program, focus on that. And if you do that, Krishna, the holy name, will be pleased. Ultimately, this whole movement, you can even kind of see it in a different way, a much more philosophical way. This whole movement is about the chanting of the holy names. It's just about, the whole movement is the Sankirtan Yagna. It's a congregational effort to chant the holy names. That's why we have the temples, that's why we invite guests. The first thing we do is chanting, and prasad, of course. They're all different features. So, I think we have to stop now, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare